What's up, everybody? My name is Joe Brown and this is Heresy Financial. A few key events have been unfolding over the last couple of days that make it look like the United States is ramping up its war against cryptocurrencies. Now, this video is not about stablecoins and the fact that it looks like the Federal Reserve and regulators are looking to stomp out stablecoins, especially with a new central bank digital currency at some point. If you want to see that video, check out the video I did a couple days ago on here. Instead, today we're looking at how it looks like regulators are increasing their efforts against cryptocurrencies in general. And so today we are going to look at two major things unfolding right now. Number one is the KYC legislation that has been snuck into the new infrastructure bill that is quickly making its way through the Senate. The second thing we're going to look at is new power requests by the SEC to Congress that would give them authority over overseeing cryptocurrencies in general and what that would do to the cryptocurrency industry. Ready? Let's dive in. Okay, so first we're going to look at the KYC legislation that has been snuck into the infrastructure bill, and then we're going to look at what Gary Gensler has been saying. He's the chairman of the SEC. So first, KYC. If you aren't aware, KYC stands for Know Your Customer. And at the moment, financial institutions like brokers are required to go through some sort of method to gather information about everybody who does business there, things like name, date of birth, social security number, things like that. And they're also required to get enough identifying information about that person so that they can submit tax documents to the IRS to say, hey, this person bought or sold at these prices and therefore they had this much in gains or losses. Well, it turns out that in the new infrastructure bill that is currently being pushed through the Senate as we speak, it looks like this week Schumer's trying to get this bill passed. There is language that has been inserted into this infrastructure bill that redefines what a broker is to broadly expand the definition so that it incorporates many players in the cryptocurrency space. And it's so broad that not only would this include exchanges, but it also might include things like miners. Now, this gets very complicated because buying and selling different cryptocurrencies is technologically not very similar to buying and selling stocks at all. In fact, when you buy and sell stocks, you cannot just do it with another person. By law, you have to go through a broker. This is in contrast with cryptocurrencies, which many of these cryptocurrency transactions are done peer-to-peer, and the transaction is verified by a miner. Now, you would think that the very nature of how these trades work out would eliminate them from the possibility of any sort of reporting requirements, because I'm not going to gather any information on you. If I'm going to sell you my Bitcoin, you're not going to gather any information from me. Part of the reason for this is because many cryptocurrencies are what's known as pseudonymous. Not anonymous, but pseudonymous. That means basically you've got an account number that acts as a pseudonym for you. And that account number, all of the transactions that wallet or that address is associated with, they're public and they can be tracked, but it takes a lot of really deep and significant digging to figure out who that wallet or that address belongs to. It's not impossible, but it's difficult because each account or wallet or address basically operates as a pseudonym for anybody doing transactions. This makes it functionally impossible for exchanges and miners to operate under KYC regulation. Despite this, the language that is currently in the bill as we speak is broad enough to include miners and peer-to-peer transactions and exchanges in having to fall under the rules to KYC, Know Your Customer, gather this data. And since for many transactions it's functionally impossible to gather that data, it makes it impossible to follow these laws. Which means that essentially how that would work out in practice, it would be a de facto ban on mining and many transactions of many cryptocurrencies in the States. And then the only things that would survive would be highly centralized so that the on-ramps and the off-ramps between the cryptocurrency universe and the fiat universe or the dollar would be watched, highly regulated, controlled, and censored. And I want to reiterate this because this is important. If a law states you can't do A without doing B, but B is impossible, that's effectively just outlawing activity A. If pushed through in its current form, which there is actually a pretty high likelihood of this happening, it will crush many cryptocurrencies, and for anything that does survive, will basically force all that activity overseas. And so far, the only thing that's really proven resilient to these types of government outlawing and banning and regulation has been Bitcoin, as we just saw with China, as they outlawed mining in China, and Bitcoin just shrugged it off. Now, this brings us to the second thing that's happening right now, which is Gary Gensler. He is the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. the SEC. A couple days ago, he was speaking to the Aspen Security Forum. He stated that the SEC is actively pursuing expanded authorities from Congress so that they can expand their oversight and authority over the entire cryptocurrency universe. Now, he said they already exercise authority over many cryptocurrencies that technically fall under the definition of a security. Just look at what happened with Ripple last year. Further than that, any cryptocurrencies right now that meet the definition of a security, he would want the regulation of the platform that they trade on, regardless of whether or not that platform was operating as a broker or an exchange. All of this, of course, is under the guise of investor protection. And as Reagan said, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government, and I'm here to help." But here's the crazy part, for me at least. In this talk, he reiterated something that he said back in May, which is that he believes Bitcoin, and he views Bitcoin as very different, distinct from all other cryptocurrencies. He even stated that it is a store of value in a sentence where he was comparing it to things like gold and silver. So he's verbalized his support for Bitcoin, and he's also talked in the past about his support for someday soon getting an ETF, a Bitcoin ETF approved. And the reason for this is because ETFs fall under very different rules than something like a trust. We have GBTC in the States, but that's a trust, which falls under much looser guidance and much looser rules versus something like an ETF. While it might seem at odds that he is out on one hand trying to do something that would probably have negative effects for the cryptocurrency space, but at the same time trying to approve a Bitcoin ETF, approving a Bitcoin ETF would accomplish increasing regulation overall. It would clamp down on fraud because it would be much easier to have exposure to Bitcoin through an ETF than it is through some of the major channels today for the average person. It would bring investor protection because that ETF would fall under the rules and regulations of an ETF rather than something like a trust. It would reduce investors or traders or speculators being subject to misleading or fraudulent claims. A lot of the scams out there where people have promised to give Bitcoin in return for Bitcoin or things like that. It would just be buying an ETF like people are familiar with buying a stock. It would highly centralize the on-ramps and the off-ramps between Bitcoin and dollars because you're just doing it like a normal stock through an ETF rather than going through wallets and exchanges. And it would open the floodgates to anybody who wants exposure to the price of Bitcoin who hasn't been able to yet simply because they are bound by the rules and they can only invest maybe for themselves or for their clients according to things that are allowed like ETFs and mutual funds. So what does this mean when we put it all together? Whether we look at stablecoins or cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin, the United States does look like it is ramping up its war. It is escalating that attack against cryptocurrencies overall, especially in light of this legislation that has been snuck into the infrastructure bill. And there are a couple congressmen who are trying to get the language changed so that it doesn't apply so broadly that it would completely crush any innovation and push it all overseas. But it's very possible that it passes in its current form. But whether it passes in its current form or slightly amended in order to tighten up those definitions, either way, the SEC and the IRS and the government is increasing its regulation and its power and its oversight over the cryptocurrency space. It's very unlikely that this doesn't have a negative effect for most cryptocurrencies and have the effect of pushing a lot of innovation, if not most or all innovation, in this space overseas. At the same time, it would provide a very bullish framework for Bitcoin to survive and thrive. And this might simply be because they can see what's happened around the world and what's happening right now. They can see, hey, we can crush stablecoins, we can crush a lot of these altcoins, but we can't really do anything to kill Bitcoin, so might as well welcome it as best as we can while centralizing the on and off ramps to highly regulate it so we can squeeze as much juice out of it as possible. It would highly increase tax compliance for trading things like Bitcoin because it would be very difficult then to do it on platforms that are outside of anything that's approved, which would mean anywhere you are able to do it, you're going to have your 1099s reported, or it's just going to be in a regular brokerage account because you're doing it with an ETF. If we can crush it, let's do it. If we can't crush it, let's regulate it and squeeze as much juice out of it as we can. Because of all of this, I'm still stacking sats daily. I use Swan Bitcoin. If you want to try out Swan Bitcoin, use my link in the description. You'll get $10 of Bitcoin for signing up. And if you want to invest in Bitcoin in an IRA so that you don't have to deal with any tax obligations for it, you can always do so in a self-directed IRA. I use iTrust Capital. 1 month free if you use my link in the description below. As always, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.